Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another video. This video is about energy vampires, how to deal with energy vampires. That is, how to deal with those relationships in your life that are draining you, draining your energy. These are people you spend time with and you feel drained after spending time with them. So, how to manage those relationships so you avoid feeling drained and you actually start feeling better in those relationships, or what to do with those relationships in general so you would feel better. So the first thing to know and to understand so you would start feeling better is, why are these people behaving this way? And by the way, when we call these people energy vampires, it sounds, the name is not so flattering. The name is not so kind. If we call someone an energy vampire, it doesn't really sound nice. So I'm using that term because it is a widely used term to describe this type of relationship where we feel drained. But I really wanted to highlight that people who behave this way, who just need others to actually focus on them, validate them, it's all about them, that's what's draining us. These people are doing it because it is their coping mechanism. It is their life coping mechanism. It is their survival mechanism. So understanding that, and I will explain why this is their coping mechanism, knowing that will help us just observe them in a softer way. When we see this person coming in, approaching us, we don't get into that defensive mode, immediately thinking, oh, they're bad, they're mean, and so on, they're energy vampires. Instead, we can approach them with understanding and kindness. But this does not mean that we have to be around them, that we have to sustain their dynamics, that we have to give them our energy, our time, our focus, our effort if it's draining us. It doesn't mean we have to do that, but just approaching them and observing them with kindness and understanding is the first step for us to feel better. Now, why are they behaving this way? Why is this their coping mechanism? It is because they have a lack of energy themselves. So these people that we call energy vampires, they have lack of energy inside of them. And instead, they're refusing to look inside of them and actually resolve this reason why they have a lack of energy. Instead, they are looking to get some extra energy so they could keep going from the outside world, from other people. Now, this is all happening on a subconscious level. So it's basically their mind and their body doing this automatically without them even thinking. Why do they have lack of energy? We have all gone through events in our life. Some of those events, they leave some emotional heaviness inside of us, like a feeling of sadness, guilt, shame, anger, anxiety, and so on. So these feelings that we have accumulated from the events in our past have stayed with us. And for some people, that heaviness of those heavy feelings is so big that they feel like literally they're carrying 10 kilos of weight of stones every day on their back, and they feel drained. Maybe they have been doing this for a while, for a long period of time, so they feel drained. So it is these feelings that they have accumulated inside of them that are heavy, and they're pushing them down, they're waiting on them, and they feel drained. So instead of them looking into a mirror and asking themselves, okay, why do I feel this way? And trying to find the reason why and resolve that, they refuse to go inwards, and they are just looking for a short-term solution to get some energy from the outside world so they could feel a little bit more energized, a little bit better. So this is why they're doing it. And again, this is all happening on a subconscious level. Most probably they don't even realize that they're doing it. It is their coping mechanism. It's their brain doing it automatically. So what to do in a relationship of this type? How to deal with this type of relationship? How can you feel better? The reason why you might be surrounded by people who are energy vampires, or maybe they're coming into your life frequently. It is very important to acknowledge the only reason why they would be around you is because you have not set your clear boundaries. Meaning, the reason why you feel drained around anyone, around these people that we can call energy vampires, is because you're doing something, you're involved in something that is draining you. It means it doesn't feel good to you. So you're doing something that doesn't feel good to you. You're talking about something that doesn't feel good to you. You're in a situation that doesn't feel good to you. And that is what is draining you. And the only reason why you're doing it, the only reason why they're able to drain your energy, let's call it this way, is because you are accepting to do things that don't feel good to you in the first place. Which means you did not set your boundaries clearly and you're not respecting your boundaries. Now, why are you doing it? Because you want people to like you. You are afraid that if you say no, if you refuse, if you say not tonight, I have other plans, or I prefer not to go there, or I prefer not to meet that person, you are afraid of their reaction. You're afraid you will be excluded, you will be alone, they will not like you anymore. You're afraid that you will not be liked, that you will be excluded, that you will not be part of the pack, that you will not be accepted. Now, this fear comes from a childhood, and this behavior where you might not be setting your boundaries clearly and respecting your boundaries of what feels good to you and saying no to what doesn't feel good to you. This behavior of crossing your own boundaries is learned in the childhood. You most likely had to behave this way in your childhood in order to get your parents to approve of you, to like you, to tell you well done, good boy, good girl, to give you sweets, and so on. That learned behavior in your childhood is not the same behavior that you are following as an adult person. So, to recap, the reason why anyone is an energy vampire is important to understand. They lack their own energy because they are carrying heavy feelings of sadness, anger, resentment, and so on inside of them. And they're so heavy, those feelings are so heavy, they have lack of energy. They need to get energy from other people. Now, you do not have to accept this, because if you do, you are not helping. You're only actually sustaining that state they're in that is not beneficial for them. And the last thing, the reason why you're doing it, having these people in your life, is because you have not set your boundaries clearly of what feels good to you. So it is your job how to deal with these people. It is your job to understand that you have not set your boundaries clearly. You're saying yes to things that don't feel good to you, and that is draining your energy. You did not set your boundaries clearly, and it is your job first to acknowledge that. And it's okay. It's okay. It was a survival coping mechanism for you in the past that you do not have to continue in the future. And understanding that where are your boundaries? What does feel good to you? What no longer feels good to you? And now applying that and respecting that and emphasizing that. Start saying no to things that don't feel good to you. Start saying yes to things that feel good to you. And then those relationships with people who might be draining your energy, they will be less draining because you will preserve your energy. You will do what feels good to you and say no to what doesn't feel good to you, and you will feel better in those relationships. Now, if these people are very close to you, like your family members, maybe your parents or siblings, it will be more challenging for you because you have all these fears from the childhood, fear of being rejected, fear of being alone, that will prevent you most likely to say no to these people. Now, it is your job to ask yourself, what is more important to me, to keep pleasing them or start feeling good with myself? There you go. So I hope this was helpful. Clarity is key, and that is a starting point. And I hope this video helped you get some clarity, and I hope you implement these steps, and I hope to help you. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.